Okay, as I was saying, I wanted to show you what you can do. Okay, now here, well, I've got an electrical, this light, we'll get the light, let's see here. Okay, a little bright in here. We got an electrical outlet here. Do you see anything wrong with it? No, but I took it out of the wall. I took the junction box out. I ran the flexi bit down there, drilled a hole down underneath the floor, and this couch is electrified. Okay, here's the let's see here. See? I just want to let you see it. And I had to get power to it. All of this is electrified. Okay? Different components. And I had to get power there. So I got the power from there, ran it underneath the house, drilled a hole under here, put a cut-in box in, put a power strip underneath there, connected all that together. And when I ran the power underneath there, I ran a junction box down there, and then I ran another cord off of there, ran it over to make a light switch, ran lights underneath the house all the way through here, and ran another electrical outlet. And that's what you can do. That's what you can do over here for your power for the ceiling fan. If we couldn't do it any other way, remember, you would cut a hole right here into the wall about the height of an electrical outlet. Drill your hole through there, and then go over to wherever else you had a plug. Okay, let's say it's this one here. It doesn't have to be that one. I showed you another one in there. It can be any plug on the interior walls. Okay, you take the plug out, take the box out, drill a hole through there, and then you've got your power. And then you run a power cord from there up over to here into a junction box, and then go up above. And if you can't get it through the top plates and stuff with your long flexi bit going up through the wall, getting through the fire block, getting up there, you can cut another box way up high there. Okay, you can put another cover plate on there, and then you can cut a hole up in the ceiling, put your inspection cover, put your 2-gang cut-in box in there, fish the wire over to the ceiling fan. Boom! Another way you can do it if you don't want to cut your drywall out. The last thing I ever want to do is cut the drywall out on walls, on ceilings, and all that kind of stuff. And as for this, where you've got your box there, you don't have to put a cut-in box there. You don't have to put an electrical outlet there. You can run your full wire from here, underneath, up, and then just keep pulling it out. Then fish it up to there, pull it out, fish it to there, fish it over to there. These holes, these covers, you don't even have to put a cut-in box there. You can get a big cover plate, as long as it's a little smaller than the cover plate holes. You know, your cover plate will have holes in it. If you cut your hole in your drywall just a hair smaller than that, you can poke little holes into the drywall. You can put little plastic anchors in there. You can put screws in there for just your cover plate. If you only want the cover plate there, you only want a cover plate there, you only want a 2-gang cover plate or 3-gang cover plate up there. You don't even have to put a cut-in box if you don't cut the wire and have wire nuts hanging out of the wall and that kind of stuff. You never want to put something like that into the wall without a cut-in box, without a junction box in the wall or a ceiling or anything like that. You see what I mean? But if you don't do that, you just put your blank plates over there, fish your wire over there, and kaboom, you got it done. Okay? So those are all of the different things I wanted to show you on getting power up to a ceiling fan. Like I say, you only have to have power to the ceiling fan if you have your ceiling fan controlled by a little handheld remote. Okay? All right, I think your classroom is over. Well, that's all I got for this time. But I'll be back with more videos. Well, I can cross that project off my list. Here's one more thing to consider if you're going to use the power on this wall in case the TGIs went up this way. Remember I was saying you take that out and drill a hole up through there with your flexi bit, get it up there, and on the back side I was saying you could cut a hole close to the wall, you could patch it, you could put a plate up there or something like that. But see, in this case, just about beyond where that electrical outlet is there, see, right there, there's a smoke alarm. You can take the smoke alarm out, take the cut-in box out, and maybe you have enough room as that wire goes up the wall on the other side. You can fish the fish tape down. Maybe you can reach from there to grab it and to tie a wire on it and use that to fish it through to get your power down to there, have your wire there to then be able to fish it all the way over there if your joists are going that way. Also, if you have some can lights, you got can lights here, okay? If that's fairly close to where you're working, can you take a can light out? Yes, you can take a can light out. It's kind of tricky to do, but I believe you can take the light bulb out, you can take the trim, you take the trim out, and then the whole can that goes up in there, there's some little screws on there or something. You should be able to get it out, and you should be able to slide that can out of there to have just have a hole there up in your ceiling, and you might be able to fish a wire that way without having to cut a hole in the ceiling. Okay, all you got to do, think about your project. Main thing I'm trying to get you to do is think about all of these different scenarios before you have to think about cutting out drywall in the ceiling or walls, because then you've got another big, huge portion of your project to do, and your patching may not come out exactly how you like. Plus, maybe you don't have any matching paint for the ceiling. Maybe your paint for the wall, you moved into a house and they don't have any paint, and now you've got to figure out how to match the paint. Or you've got an old paint can and it's 5 or 6 years old, and you put some paint on the wall and it doesn't match your wall. Now you've got all these different scenarios just for you to install the ceiling fan? Yes, all of those things come into play. So let's take those out and see if there's one way or another to get the power up to your ceiling fan. Now, doesn't that look nice? Doesn't it look like it's always meant to be up there? It's been up there since day one of this house that's 20 years old. But no, there was nothing up there. You installed it yourself. There's no patches going on anywhere. The ceiling looks fine. There's no marks up on the ceiling. The floor is clean. There's nothing wrong with the bed. There's no patches on the wall over there. Can you believe all of this stuff that you just learned? That's pretty amazing. I kind of shock myself sometimes because, like I say, I'm just an average Joe, but I know a little bit about a lot of different things. And what I have that I know, I like to teach other people how to do it too, how to save money around the house. That's what my videos are all about. It gives me satisfaction to be able to do something on my own and stand back and look, wow, that's pretty cool. I did it myself. I didn't make a mess. Everything turned out right. The handheld remote works. It was meant to be. And you can do the same thing. I want to give you the confidence in knowing, just because you're an average Joe and you don't know how to install a ceiling fan, you've never installed a ceiling fan before, you watch this entire video series and I think you just might be able to do it yourself. Now here, I just had another epiphany on how you could get the the power up there if you have to come from here as you come up and you drill a hole up through the ceiling cavity, okay, up through the top plates and all that kind of stuff. Remember I was saying, if you have an electrical smoke alarm and it's hardwired, you could take that all out. You could take the plastic box out, and then you could fish over to where the wire is, and then fish it, boom, right through the same bay. Make sure that the ceiling fan is installed in the same bay as this. If your joists are going this way, like I was saying, and I was saying, okay, then I gave you an alternative. Well, maybe you have a smoke alarm out here in your hallway, because you're always supposed to have a smoke alarm outside your bedrooms in a hallway like this. And maybe you have a battery operated one. So I was saying, okay, if you have that, you may have to cut a hole over here, put an inspection cover over it, put a round cover over it, paint it the same color as the ceiling, or tape it, top it, skim it, texture it, just a little patch up next to the wall, and you're probably not going to see it. But I just had a brain flash that if you have a smoke alarm and it's battery operated, maybe it's a battery operated in this hallway somewhere, maybe it's right here, maybe it's over here, maybe it's over here. It doesn't matter where it's at, it's just battery operated. You have some plastic anchors pushed up into the ceiling, okay, and then your smoke alarm is attached to that, right? So what if wherever you decide you're going to have the ceiling fan, you figure out which bay that is, and you make sure that the ceiling smoke alarm is within that bay. Okay, let's say the smoke alarm is over here. Well, you take the smoke alarm out because it's battery operated. Worst case scenario, you got two little holes that you got to patch, that you have to caulk, and you're not going to see that because you're going to relocate that smoke alarm over to the bay where you know the ceiling fan is going to be. Okay, hear me out here. And then instead of reinstalling the smoke alarm just to the sheetrock, you cut a hole out in that same bay, a round hole or a rectangular one, whichever one you want, that you can attach a smoke alarm to. You can attach a smoke alarm to an electrical outlet junction box that's the same size as a switch, okay? Or if it's a round one like you saw how I did there, okay, you'd have to cut out and put a round cut-in box. I'd rather just put a rectangular cut-in box wherever it is, okay? Cut out a hole, okay? Even though you don't need it for your smoke alarm, because the smoke alarm is battery operated, right? But you've got that hole now, so that when you fish up the wall, when you fish up, you can tell I'm getting excited about this because I just figured out how not to have a hole in your ceiling in the hallway. You've already got this, and your power's coming up the wall now. It's going up in the ceiling cavity. Now you've got a hole over here that you can reach over to there in the ceiling to get the wire, fish your steel tape down, take the steel tape up through there, or attach your wire from this hole here over to your steel tape or over to your flexi bit so you can pull it back down over there, get it through this hole. Now you've got enough wire left that you can then fish your flexi bit from this hole that you've cut, boom, all the way over to your ceiling fan location. Okay, now when you reattach when you get all done, then you can reattach your battery operated smoke detector alarm right to that cut-in box that you're going to put in there, the round cut-in box that you're going to put in, the rectangular cut-in box that you're going to put in. Then you don't have to cut a hole over here and patch. You see what I'm saying? Okay, so there's another idea for you to install that ceiling fan power. Oh yeah. Oh, I tell you, I was editing the other video clips to make a video series on it, and I came up with one other thought that I missed on figuring out how to get the power up here if your joists aren't going the same direction the same bays as where the ceiling fan is. Remember I was telling you, if you have floor joists and you got a ceiling above here, no attic, no nothing, and you got 2x12s here, or you got TJIs, I said that throws this out of play. You can't do anything with that and bring power from your hardwired smoke alarm over to your ceiling fan location. I'm wrong about that. Sorry about that. There was one other way, because if you will remember, if the floor joists are going this way, and if they're TJIs with the plywood gussets, I could still have figure out exactly where my ceiling fan location is going to go. And then from there over, there's probably at least 2 floor joists, maybe 3 in a pinch, that are between there, the smoke alarm, and the ceiling fan. And if those are TJIs with the plywood, OSB plywood gussets in there, okay, from there, because it's a straight shot, I would try, after I get my hole here, I would try my flexi bit through there. Drill through one, go to the next one, drill through that one, go to the next one, drill through that, because it's a straight shot. It's not at a 45-degree angle like the other bedroom or anything like that. And I'll bet you I could do it. Now, if these were 2x12s or 2x10 floor joists, and there's a floor above there, no attic, I would not recommend. Again, I would not recommend drilling holes through that, because that weakens the 2x12, especially if you have a floor above here. If you were to talk to any building inspector, he would frown upon it. He would not tell you it's okay. He would have to say, no, you can't do that. In a pinch, could you? Well, that's up to you. I don't want to say that it's possible and then find out your floor joists were only 2x8s, let's say, or something like that, and not full 2x12s, depending how long the span is and all that kind of stuff. I never like to see anybody drilling through the middle of that to run a wire, to run a plumbing pipe, to run a copper plumbing pipe, to run a drain line or something like that. You never want to do anything like that. If those were TJIs with the OSB plywood gussets, yes. And in my case, if they were TJIs, the ones down in this particular house, not always, but sometimes you get the ones with the V of the metal and it's all open. If it was all open here, of course I could just fish it right through there, okay? So that's one more idea for you for sure.